stay from brown people, man. Let me tell you something about them real ones. Them real ones can't fake with you. Like, we can't fake smile with you. We can't fake like we like you. We can't fake laugh with somebody we don't fuck with. We don't fake fuck with people, man. We rather be alone. We rather chill by ourselves. We rather stay home before we get around people, man, that we do not like. We can't stand just to have some company, man. Yeah, see, fake people, man, they can put up with that shit. They can hang around people all day, laugh with people they don't like, man, then talk about them. See, real people ain't gonna do that, because we gonna tell you to your face. We don't fuck with you like that. See, when you real, man, you can't fake with nobody, man. You cut different. You cut from a different cloth. Yeah, you done broke the mold. They don't make people like you no more. Because, see, real is real, but fake shit be everywhere. And I'm allergic to that fake shit out here. That's why I just stay in the house. That's why I stay from brown people, man.
Hey, Shalom. All praises to you, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash. A much mercy to you sincere brothers out there, the true house of David, you brothers that's with the Lord, and that understand the covenant, all you believers. And then Shalom to all you false prophets out there that's partially teaching our people, not with a whole mind, not with a whole heart, but with a partial heart and a partial mind. Shalom to you. And basically, what I want to do is, I just want to go over a couple things. The new covenant is a narrow path. It is a narrow path where you get your self together with the Lord. The scriptures say fire on one side and water on the other. One man had to walk through at a time. So this is a narrow path, man. I got a couple things I want to go over. This is a straight gate. Like I read last night, when Paul got knocked off that horse, he had to go to a place where it was called straight. So this is a straight path. This path is not of the world, but guys are making it of the world. It is a one-on-one path with the Lord. Matthew 7:13, enter ye in at the straight gate. We gotta understand, we gotta remember this is a straight path. This is a narrow road. And the straight path is not a path of the world. It says, enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in therein. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Few that's going to find it. This thing this is literally like the Matrix, because only a few are really going to find their way out of it. And really, when you look at this, the ones that are of God are going to be kept in that field, hidden as the Lord's treasure, not something that is with this world. The Lord said the foxes have holes. Yahweh Shai showed you that this ain't nothing of having a position or nothing like that. This is something of a narrow walk, you one-on-one. Matthew 7:14, it says, straight is the gate, and narrow is the way that leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. You see that? So this is what you got to understand. You have to beware. And the Lord said many false prophets. So the thing is, repenting unto God, walking a narrow path. The Lord said the multitudes were born in vain. You see? The multitudes were born in vain. And the scripture tell you that one man could go down that road at a time. Matter of fact, let me grab this real quick. And this is something you really got to understand. Is this the new covenant and how the dynamics of the new covenant? It don't have anything to do with the world and the acknowledgement of the world. It's everything of the spirit. It's more you kept from out of the world. The more you kept from the ways of the world, the more you kept from the rudiments of the world, it's the better you will be. And that will leave you on a lonely and a straight path. This is what you got to understand about the new covenant. It's not determined by how you're liked of the world. It's not determined by how famous you are in the world. It's not determined by how many people like you. It's determined by if the Lord loves you. That's what it's determined by. So you got to understand this, man. This is a path where you have to walk this path straight one-on-one with the one-on-one with the Lord, man. This is 2 Ezra 7, right? And a lot of guys forget because they get seduced by the world, and now they think the new covenant. And they think the standard of it is like the standard of the world, like you being accepted of the world or you being noticed of the world. When the Lord said he'll raise you up in the last day, the Lord said he will raise your spirit up so you can understand Yahweh Shai and move like him, raise you up like he was raised up in the when he was on the earth. So you wasn't raised up in the standards of the world. You're going to be raised up in the spirit. You're going to have a powerful heart and a new mind, and you're going to believe in the Lord. You're going to walk a different path than the world. So you're not going to be in the standards and the ways of the world or anything like the world. The Lord said, keep them in the world, but keep them out of the evil. 2 Esdras, I just want to read this real quick. It says, 2 Esdras 7:4, but the case, let me read this. It says, 2 Esdras 7:6, it says, there's another thing, and these are certain things you have to remember. It is a straight path. It is a narrow path. So if you're in the broad gates, just like with these camps, churches, and everything that where's a lot of people at, you don't want to fucking be there at all, because what you're doing is you're gathering amongst the wide gates and the broad paths, which are going to lead to destruction. You have to be gathered unto the narrow path. It says, there's another thing. A city is builded and set up on a broad field, and is full of all good things. And the entrance is narrow and is set in a dangerous path, place to fall. Like if there was a fire on the right hand and on the left deep water, and one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could be one man go there at once. So only one man could go down this path at one time. It is a narrow path. The Lord tell you that the multitude was born in vain. And like I said in the other video, a lot of guys are giving over to their own heart's desire, to their own heart's lust. And this is the time right now. Let me read this real quick. Yeah, so it's very heavy in this time, man. It really is. This is a time where you have to repent and get to the Lord one-on-one. This is 2nd Esdras 9:22. Let the multitude perish then which was born in vain, and let not my grape be kept and my plant, for with great labor have I made it perfect. So the multitude will perish, and the Lord is only keeping his plant. The Lord's plant is not out there for everybody. The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in the field. And when you're hid in that field, not everybody is able to find you. That's why when that rich man had all of them carnal pleasures of the world, he couldn't give that up for the Lord. A lot of guys their lust is being fulfilled. Like what they really truly wanted out their heart, that's what's being fulfilled. And in this time, the few of us is fulfilling what's really in our heart is just to teach the Lord and to help men repent. This is what this is about. It's about repenting unto the Lord, turning back from the world, not being something in the world. The Lord said here, raise you up in the last day, your spirit to be raised up, not you being raised up with the world. So the multitude will perish that was actually born in vain. And you got to understand that, because if you think that this truth revolves around you being accepted of the world or the many people that see you or that like you, it's not based on that. It is based on you repenting, walking the narrow path with the Lord in love and sincerity, and not being stirred off the way. Matthew 13:36, then Yahushua sent the multitude away and went into the house, and his disciples came unto him, saying, declare on us the parable of the tares in the field. So Yahushua sent the multitude away. It is not about thousands in the multitude. The Lord is really dealing with those ones that's separate from the multitude, that's separate from the world. And like I said, in this truth too, this truth ain't about women. I want to read this real quick, because a lot of us don't. Well, certain guys, they don't really understand that. They think that this something is this truth is something that the Lord. You have women that believe, and their place is just to believe in the Lord, and it might be their place to support or whatever they may do. But the primary point for this is the man, and the man teaching Yahushua, following the Lord. You know, that is the head. That's what makes this narrow. That's why you have to follow the narrow path, not the broad gate, not the way of the world. This is 1 Corinthians 14:34. Let your woman keep silence in the churches. Let your woman keep silence in the churches. Why Paul is saying that? Because a lot of men fall out of their way for women, and they be stirred the wrong fucking way. And that's what's happening too in this last time. Women have no business in the place of the churches, in the place of where the men are like dwelling. It's like guys are fucking got women in their ear, and they're giving them. It's like you at war and you taking advice from a fucking woman, bro. That's why Paul say you supposed to let your woman keep silent in these churches. They supposed to support, but they keep their ass quiet. That's why a lot of guys are being stirred the wrong fucking way in this last day. Because first of all, they're giving over to their own lust, and then they're listening to women. And so now they have their woman spirit on their ass. And that's the spirit of the broad gate. That's why you go to the book of Acts, Paul then rebuked that spirit of Diana. And that's the spirit in these last days, that woman worship spirit. Anything that has to do with the woman, the weaker vessel, that's what really makes you weak. It makes you become of the world. So you have to watch that shit. And that's why in this last day, you have to walk this thing narrowly. And I'm going to tell you this. For myself, I don't have nothing but love for you brothers out there. But you have to walk this path by yourself. You have to understand that this ain't something of the world. And if guys are leaning towards the world, because these camps, all they like to do is talk about women. Now we got guys, they like, the whole thing is, it's crazy. This new covenant is not based on women. Paul said, let your woman keep silence in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also saith the law. You see that? 1 Timothy 2:11, let the woman learn in silence. Silence. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. Whoo! You see that? Guys ain't gonna bring that out. They're gonna bring out all this other shit. Let me say this too. A lot of guys, I'm gonna just say this. They don't understand that if you're not keeping your woman silence in the affairs of the churches, you're going to go off and you're going to follow the ways of the flesh, and you're going to follow the woman to your own fucking destruction. The woman doesn't think logically like that. You have women that believe in the Lord, but it's not their office to have an opinion on the affairs of the churches. So if you'll be, let me say this, and I have to say this. If you're influenced by women and you letting them influence your thoughts of the churches and how to look at brothers, then you're going to fuck off. And that's why in this last day, you have to separate yourself from guys that's leaning towards the flesh and that's leaning towards women. And that's all I'm going to say. That's why the Lord said, many have fallen out of their wits for women. And at the end of the day, women ain't important like that, bro. They're supposed to keep silence. They don't have nothing to say about the affairs of the churches. And so at the end of the day, this is what you have to do. You have to walk a narrow path, man. It's the Most High, His Son. It's Yahweh. It's Yahweh Shai, His Son, and then man. And then after that, then the woman. This is a narrow path. It's not commanded for the woman to fucking speak in these last times on the affairs of the churches. So you have to understand this, man. So this is a narrow road. A lot of guys are giving up to their own heart's lust, not the heart of the Lord. The heart of the Lord gave you example of the heart of the Lord. The Lord even told his mom, he told a woman, I'm about my Father's business. These are my brothers, the ones that's actually doing the work. He even told his mom that. But now, for some reason, this spirit of the woman is heavy. It's another spirit of the world. That's the spirit of the world, the woman spirit. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm against that woman spirit. I'm against that spirit. That's not really a right spirit to be in these last days. Hey, if you teach about woman, you will go viral. You see, it's heavy, man. It really is. Matthew 6:21. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So if your treasure is really in Yahushua, like really in Yahushua and what he did, you're going to really understand how the Lord really did walk. It had really nothing to do with this world like that. It was all you repenting and changing your mind. Matthew 11:29, take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest upon your souls. Exactly. A rest in the spirit, not a rest in the world. This truth is not about the recommendations of the world or the acceptance of the world or the multitudes. The Lord sent the multitudes away. The multitudes were born in vain. This truth is the matrix, because now you have to find your way to where the Lord really is. It's so much clutter. It's so much fucking clutter out there that you could be knocked off the path. And then if you're following the way of the world, or if you're moving towards the flesh, then you're not really in the spirit. And then brothers like myself and certain other brothers telling you certain things, you ain't gonna want to hear that, because you've been knocked towards the flesh. And so you think you're winning in the flesh. But this is being raised up in the spirit, being raised up in the mind. And one of the signs that guys are falling to the flesh, they're taking heed to the woman and seducing spirits. It's all type of spirits to be seduced. So you have to understand these things in these last days, man. Matthew 22:37, and Yahushua said unto them, thou shalt love the Lord with all thine heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. It says, love the Lord with all thine heart. It didn't say shit about the woman in this commandment of the new covenant. Yeah, you're supposed to love your wife, but the first commandment is loving the Lord first. It says, thou shalt love the Lord with all thine heart and with all thine soul and with all thy mind. So nothing comes before the order and the way of the Lord in the Gospels. So you have to put the way that the Lord walked in the Gospels over everything. Yeah, we know guys ain't Yahushua, but you're supposed to put Yahushua's mind and what he did over everything. Verse 38, this is the first and great commandment. The second is like it. And a lot of guys is breaking this because they're putting women over their brother. It's heavy. It says, and the second is like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. You see that? It said, these two hang all the law and the prophets. Right. So if somebody really have love, they're going to tell you, no matter how everybody think, they're going to actually tell you the whole truth of the matter. They're going to tell you what it is. No matter if you hate them or look bad, or you might look at them bad, or they might be hated and shit like that. And that's why the Lord said you'll be hated of all men, because the Lord is going to put in certain of us that new heart where we're able to tell you the whole truth of the matter. And me personally, man, I'm going to say this. I'm not going out of my way for nothing in this world. No woman and none of that shit. It's not fucking worth it in this time. But a lot of guys, that's what they give their heart. Their heart is really with this world and with women and shit. That's where their heart is, because it's all coming out now. So now we see that, and that's what guys are leaning towards. That's the truth. So now these first two commandments, guys are like breaking them because they're putting they're putting women, like that shit's so important. The Lord said, Paul said, women are supposed to keep silence, man. They don't have no opinion about any fucking things about the church and the men of the Lord. Nothing. And a lot of guys, like I say, been given over to their own heart's lust. It says, on these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. So you got to understand this. The greatest commandments is loving the Lord, Yahweh Shai. That means you have to walk like the Lord. So if the Lord didn't really teach women, why the fuck are all these guys teaching this shit about women now? It's heavy. And don't get me wrong, shit. I love women too. I deal with women myself. But when it comes to this truth, I keep that shit separate. Because what that does is that brings an influence on how you're thinking. And that puts you in the flesh. All that woman shit. That shit crazy. Anyway, let me go into this real quick. So the thing about this last day, if you're not really following Yahweh Shai and the men that's really of the Lord like that, not of the world, because guys are measuring you being the man of the Lord on how the world accepts you. And that ain't what this is about. The Lord said he'll raise you up in the last day. He's not raising you up in the standard of the fucking world. Yeah, he's not raising you up in the standard of the world. He's raising you up in the spirit. The gospel is being preached. And the gospel can only be taught by the men of the Lord with a clear mind, with a heart devoted to Yahweh Shai. Not devoted to this world, not devoted of being something of the world, but devoted to the Lord. So if you love the Lord, right, you're going to move like him. You're going to do what he did. And I have to say that because we get it twisted on what we think being raised up is. Being raised up is being raised up in the spirit. Having the mind of the Lord. Not having a place in this world, but having a place with the Lord in the heart. If you have a place in this world, then you don't have a place with the Lord. Matthew 11:5, it says, the blind receive their sight, and the lame walk, and the lepers are cleansed, and the deaf hear, and the dead are raised up, and the poor have the gospel preached to them. Right, and the gospel can only be preached when you have a whole mind unto the Lord. When you have a sincere mind unto the Lord. A lot of guys are falling away in the spirit because they're leaning towards the flesh, and I'm going to keep saying that. You're supposed to lean towards the Lord and his men, the ones that's really teaching the Lord with a whole heart, and repent and pray to the Lord to show you the right way, and he'll show you the right way. He really will. You have to have some faith. Matthew 21:16, and he said unto them, thou hearest what these say. Yahweh Shai saying unto them, yea, ye never read out of the mouth of babes and suckling, thou hast perfected praise. Right, so if you're a babe, you're something low. Not really counted for as nothing of this world. That's why the greatest in the kingdom of heaven is a child. You staying low. The meek and the lowly. Lowly. Not exalted. Not having pride. That's why this is a narrow path, because you could be seduced of the world. Like what's happening. A lot of guys are being seduced of the world. You have to keep the mind frame of keeping it low. John 6:44 says, no man come to me except the Father which hath sent me draw him, and I will raise him up at the last day. Right, and being raised up don't have really nothing to do with being raised up to the world. You're being raised in the spirit. And when you're raised in the spirit, the Lord keeps you out of the world. Matter of fact, let me read that real quick. Not exalt you in the world. Guys think them being exalted in the world and having a place in the world and being something in the world, that's being raised up to the Lord. It's not like that. John 17:14, man, one of my favorite scriptures, because also right here in John 17, the Lord said that it is finished. So the new covenant is here. It's in a few of us, not everybody, because the new covenant is the key to the new world. The new heart is the key to the new world, not a key to this world, not being exalted here, not having a place in this world. The new covenant is a place for the new covenant is of the new world, is of the new heart, is not of this world. So guys making a new covenant of this world and of the flesh, that means that they are of this world. You have to be able to distinguish the two. The new covenant and having a new heart, it does have nothing to do with this world or the flesh. You're being raised in the spirit. John 17:4, I have given them thy world, and the world have hated them. Key words. The world is going to hate you for having that new heart. And I know a lot of you brothers, certain brothers come out of these camps and they fucking hate you. That's what the Lord said in Matthew 5. You got to rejoice when you're hated, and you're going to be hated of all men. And a lot of guys say that they're offended. Yeah, the Lord said that many will be offended in this day. Many will be offended. Look, all these camps offended. Everybody's offended. The new covenant is being taught. Yeah, everybody's offended. Why? Because you're only offended. Let me say this. You only get offended, right, when you're moving like the world, and when somebody actually calls you out on that shit. But if you're moving like Yahushua, you're not really offended. You understand that a lot of guys are not really of the spirit like that. More guys are really of the world than the few that are really of the Lord. More guys are going to be of the world. That's what you got to really understand at the end of the day. So you being of the Lord is not determined on how much the world likes you or how much you become exalted in this world. You being of the Lord is depending on you and your heart towards the Lord, and if you're really of the Lord in secret. John 17:4, I have given them the word, and the world have hated them, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. So you're supposed to be hated and walk that narrow path, one man at a time. That is the writer passage. It says, I pray not that thou shouldest take them out of the world, but thou shouldest keep them from the evil. They are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. It says, sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth. And this word is keeping us. Yahushua is keeping us. That's why you put the way that the Lord walked over everything. So pretty much, I just wanted to go over that, because having the new heart in this time is having the mind of Yahushua. So having the mind of Yahushua, you have to walk like Yahushua. Not walk like the world saying you're of Yahushua. Not putting women over the Lord or over brothers and shit like that. Women keep silence in the church. Their advice towards these scriptures, it does not even fucking matter. They're supposed to keep silence. Yahushua said, I pray that thou shouldn't take them out of the world, but thou shouldst keep them from the evil. So the Lord is keeping us from the evil way of this world, the evil way of being seduced of the world, the way of the world. That's what the Lord is keeping us from in these times. Well, with that, man, let me get out of here. I'll speak with you brothers a little later. All you true brothers out there, understand that this is a narrow path that you have to walk by yourself. You have to get to the Lord, and don't let nothing persuade you. Repenting is something that is done of the heart. And can't no woman, the 144,000 is all men. You see? Look at that. 144,000 is men. And so the woman ain't gonna make it unless she find a true man of the Lord. And with that, shalom.